5. So after you begin to take whatever process that you wish to take, my recommendation is visualization in the exact same way that I told you, and begin to loop that again and again and again and again and again, and then stop once you begin to strain. That's not enough, because then you'll be no different from the people that go to church and they're on their knees for an hour. Pause. And what I mean by that is this: oftentimes a lot of people will pray for prosperity for 1 hour a week and then go spend 12 hours a day in direct opposition to the state of consciousness that they wish to materialize. They pray for prosperity for a short time, but then most of the time they dwell in poverty, which then leads to materialization of more poverty. They pray for relaxation and good times, but they spend the majority of their state of consciousness and their day in bad times. One thing that you need to come to a realization of is think about the visualization itself like a jacket. You put on a jacket, but naturally what happens throughout the day, the more we become unconscious and the more we get caught up in life and whatever else is going on in our day, we slowly begin to take that jacket off and we begin to move like a GTA stripper. You know, you're taking the jacket off, you're like this. And eventually the jacket comes off. But the truth of the matter is that jacket must stay on. But the only way you can keep that jacket on is if you stay conscious of what you've done. So always recommend the visualization in the morning, because then you give yourself the capability of brainwashing yourself before the world brainwashes you. You give yourself the capability of calibrating your frequency before the world calibrates it for you. You give yourself the capability of programming yourself before the world gets to program you. All of that was a bar, write that down. A lot of people try to do their visualizations at the end of the day. That's damage control, because you've already gone through shit. You've already been slapped around by reality. Your emotions have been pulled left, right, center, and then you're trying to do it at the end of the day. No, do it so you enter your day in that state of consciousness, so then your day recognizes you as the individual that you seek to be. Now, it's important that you maintain that frequency. And the way that you go about maintaining that frequency the way that I tell my clients to do it is to pick a single line or a single line of thought that you would think upon manifesting what it is that you want. So let's say you were in your desired reality and you'd materialized it. What would be a single thought that you would think throughout that particular day? So for example, if you want to make a certain amount of money, you'd probably think to yourself, geez, making this amount of money is easy. That's something you would think. If you was in a happy, healthy relationship, you'd probably be thinking to yourself, I'm so grateful to be in a happy relationship. I'm so grateful to be in a healthy relationship. If you got that career promotion, you think to yourself, I always knew I'd get this promotion. Whatever line that is, make it unique to you. Pick that single line, and throughout the day, saturate your mind with that thought. When you're brushing your teeth, as you're showering, as you're eating lunch, you're taking a bath, you're watching TV, you're spending time with your friends, you're spending time with your family, you're at work, you're at your business. You're saturating your state of consciousness with that one particular line of thinking. Because to go back to what I said, a lot of people make the mistake of being on their knees for an hour, pause. And this is in the context of church. Of course, they're praying for prosperity for that hour, but then they go spend 12 hours in a state of consciousness of poverty, which then can only seek the materialization of poverty. Because the issue is, even spiritual people are no different from religious people in the way that they treat visualizations, affirmation, scripting as an isolated instance. And then they go throughout the day not dwelling in their state of being in the reality that they wish to be in. Hence why it's important that you maintain frequency, or you maintain your self-concept or state of consciousness through picking a single line of thinking that you would think upon materializing what it is that you want, and saturating your mind with that every single second of every single day. And eventually what that is going to do, it is the more that you begin to saturate your state of consciousness with that mentally, the more you keep that jacket on. And eventually that jacket will be worn for so long that it begins to stick to you. And then you won't even be able to take it off. And then that will be your capability in materializing whoever you want, the amount of money that you want, the career that you want, and getting that promotion that you want. The maintenance of frequency is important. Everybody visualizes, but typically what happens is people don't think the things that they would think upon being in that desired reality. So you have to ask yourself, What would I think upon materializing what it is that I want in a very me-like way? And then whatever that line of thinking is, you carry that with you throughout the day and you saturate your state of consciousness with that again and again and again and again. You literally drum it and inject it into your head again and again and again, and every second of every day. And naturally what's going to happen is the more that you begin to do that consciously, the more it's going to become part of you. Now, number 6, normalization. You need to normalize whatever it is that you wish to materialize, because the issue is you're viewing it like a new pair of shoes that are in the glass window, behind the window. And because they're behind the glass window through your perception that there's this amazing thing that is going to be this, this, and that, you then unfortunately set yourself in motion to be separated from it. Because the truth of the matter is everything that you have, you take for granted. So when are you going to start taking your desired reality for granted? You're probably thinking, what? What do you mean? Well, think about the concept of this. There were some shoes that you once wanted, you bought those shoes, and now you use those shoes to walk around in casually. You don't even think about those shoes anymore, you just put them on. And that's the truest indication of having, because unfortunately, the aspect of human nature, and this isn't to say don't have gratitude, that gratitude is what you're going to feel in when you're cultivating the emotional intensity to materialize it. But truthfully, anything that we take for granted is an indication to what we have. So you need to start taking your desired reality for granted ahead of time in order to be able to materialize it, because you taking it for granted would indicate to the universe that you have, because anything that you have, you take for granted. And I don't mean that in a sense of people, for example. I mean when it comes to certain stuff that you wish to have. So for example, as opposed to thinking, wow, it'd be so amazing to make this amount of money, it'd be life-changing, when you make that amount of money, it's just like whatever. And because it's just like whatever, it becomes normal to you. And normalization is part of the next process. So you have to make sure that you normalize your desired reality by reducing your perception towards it. And naturally, the importance that you have towards it serves as space, because importance is interpreted in the universe as energetic space. The more importance that you have behind something, the bigger the gap. Now your mind's going to be thinking, yeah, but isn't the visualization, everything that I'm doing, an indication of importance? No, because the true definition of manifestation, which has taken me quite a long time to say this in this video, but in every other video I say it like nearly at the start, manifestation is internally shifting to a degree to which you're no longer emotionally dependent upon seeing reality change. I repeat, manifestation is internally shifting to a degree to which you're no longer emotionally dependent upon seeing reality change. And the truth of the matter is, the more that you begin to do the visualization process and you begin to shift your wants to haves, and then you also begin to pick a single line of thinking, a single thought that you would think upon the materialization of that desired reality, you're going to shift internally to a degree to which you're no longer emotionally dependent. So through actually doing the inner work, you reduce the importance. We have more importance when we haven't done enough inner work. That's a bar, write that down. Anytime that we have an importance towards the materialization of a desired outcome or a desired reality, it's due to the fact that we haven't generated enough emotional intensity, which has then shifted us to a degree to which we begin to see it as nothing. Because through the generation of emotional intensity, you convince your subconscious mind that you already have it, and your subconscious mind won't want it. For example, my subconscious mind knows there's shades on my face right now, so I don't feel the need to, oh, let me put my shades on. That is not there, because they're convinced by, the subconscious mind is already convinced that I already have that. Next is relaxation. Relaxation is paramount, because the thing is this, relaxation allows for your desired reality to unfold. Because if you think about it like this, if you think about an ocean on the waters, you're both the waters and you're both the boat. This is a great boat drawing. The calmer the waters, the easier it is to get to your destination. But remember, crystal clear clarity is what gets you to the specific destination, but your state of being, how you feel throughout the day, that degree of relaxation is the waters. And the more relaxed that you are, the easier it leads to materialization of your desired reality, because the waters of your mind are calm, which then lets the boat sail easily. A lot of people fail to take into consideration how paramount relaxation is. Even if you look at John 3:27, it says a man cannot receive unless it's given to him from heaven. Heaven is that state of consciousness of a state of inner bliss, peace, calm. That calm, that serenity is paramount to the materialization of your desired reality, because simultaneously, when you're in that particular degree of relaxation, your brain has the association of you being in the alpha and theta state, which is relaxation, which means the door to your subconscious mind is open, which means that you're forever planting into your subconscious mind your desired reality, which then makes things materialize easier. The other is aligned action. Now, there's something that I call the multi-dimensional sequence of events. A lot of spiritual people like to present this facade that you don't need to take action. That's idiotic. listen to me, it's idiotic. And they're simply just appealing to the aspect of you that is tired and the aspect of you that doesn't want to do anything. But the truth of the matter is, I'm not going to lie to you. There's 3 planes of existence: mental, physical, spiritual. The physical, mental, and spiritual must all be aligned when it comes to materialization of your desired reality. There must be synchronicity and alignment across all 3 planes of existence in order for things to materialize. So on the physical plane, you cannot live on this physical plane without taking action. Even the very act of you brushing your teeth requires action. But when it comes to your desired reality, it's important that a lot of people take misaligned action. A lot of people take action while they're in a state of consciousness opposite to what they want. I'll give you an example of what I mean here. So, on the lowest levels of consciousness, action leads to reality. This is on the lowest levels of consciousness. The actions that we take are based upon the nudges that we mentally experience. The nudges that we mentally experience is based upon the intuition that we receive. The intuition that we receive is based upon our frequency or state of consciousness. And the more that you're able to alter your self-concept, state of consciousness, and frequency, as I mentioned in the previous steps, then that's going to have an effect on the intuition. Your intuition is the source that you download from. If your frequency is already in your desired reality, for example, let's say you want to make a certain amount of money. Let's say it's X amount of money. You're in the frequency, or you're already making that amount of money. That's the frequency you're at right now. Your intuition is going to then reflect the materialization of that. The nudges that you have internally are going to lead to you fulfilling that desired reality. And it's important that you have the capability of executing upon those nudges, because naturally you're going to do things, or you're going to be compelled to do things that you haven't done before. You're going to be compelled to change the way you've been doing things. It's important you execute upon that, because that's going to lead to the materialization of things, which is then going to lead to you taking actions that you haven't done before or differently, which is then going to lead to that reality. But more often than not, a lot of people, you're going to take action. That's the truth of reality. You're going to take action. But unfortunately, a lot of people take action for a result while they're in the complete opposite, contradictory state of consciousness for that result. No action taken from survival will ever bring freedom. No action taken from poverty will ever bring wealth. No action taken from an unfit state of consciousness will ever bring action of fitness. It's just not going to work. You cannot oppose the multidimensional sequence of events, state of consciousness, self-concept, frequency, that leads to your intuition, that leads to your nudges, that leads to your action, that leads to your reality. So it's about making sure that you're working on the biggest domino, because you're going to take action. You're going to take action. But here's the thing. If you're putting yourself out there to try go on dates, but you believe that, you're in the opposite state of consciousness of being in a healthy relationship, and you're thinking, it's the streets out here, it's the trenches out here, everybody out here is just fucking terrible. It's just nothing but heathens. It's just heathens out here. Then your frequency is in direct contradiction to when you try to put yourself out on that date, or on that dating app, or you try to link up with that person, you try to do this, you try to approach that person, because your frequency is in direct contradiction to the materialization of your desired reality. And it's ultimately the largest domino that has a knock-on effect on everything else. And then whether you realize this or not, you're going to feel as if the universe is against you when you're taking actions towards your desired reality. And the truth of the matter is, it's simply because you're against you. You wish to have a particular outcome that you're not in the frequency of. It doesn't work like that. There can be no outer changes until there's first inner changes. And the truth of the matter is, you need to already be in the state of consciousness of what you seek to materialize. You need to be on your side. And more often than not, people aren't.
People are not often on their own side.
People often aren't on their own side, no. So how could you expect the universe to be on your side?
Yo.
The final stage is letting go. Now, oftentimes people talk about the concept of letting go, and they fail to understand the actual process of letting go. Letting go isn't some act other than a realization of one thing, and it's this realization in particular. The attainment of your desired reality. You don't want your desired reality for no other reason than it being a frequency that you don't have. We were all connected to the all of the infinite, but when we decided to materialize on this physical plane, we descended ourselves into the realm of illusion and separated ourselves from the infinite. So we spend a large part of our lives just trying to feel whole again. Hence why we seek to want to materialize things, because we think it's going to make us feel whole. But when you come to the recognition that behind every desire that you have is no more than a feeling, you just want to feel something you never felt before. Pause. So even in that girl saying that she wants a threesome, maybe that's something she said she's never felt before. Or maybe it has. But in of itself, one thing that you need to come to a recognition of, whether it's a toothpick, whether it's a burger, whether it's a smoothie, whether it's a certain amount of money, whether it's a house, whether it's a yacht, whether it's a boat, whether it's a deal being closed, the only reason you want those things is because there's a feeling unconsciously that you're desiring. But it's the fact that you're unconscious about that feeling that you then merge your association with the desire for you wanting the thing itself rather than how it's going to make you feel. But when you come to the recognition that you just want to feel differently, then we can come to the conclusion that it's not the thing that you want a different feeling. Ironically, if the attainment of that desired reality would lead to you feeling different, then you feeling different will lead to the attainment of that desired reality. And that's how you let go. You let go by coming to the realization that it's not about the money. You think it's about the money, but it's not. It's about how the money would make you feel upon you materializing it, which is secure, which is safe, which is comfortable. It's not materializing the person that you want, which would make you feel cherished, supported, and loved. It's the feelings itself that you want. You don't want the person. It's not the career promotion that you want. It's the recognition that you want. It's the confidence. It's the status. It's the appreciation. And because all of those things are feelings, you have the capability of cultivating it with your imagination through the process that I've given throughout this video. And the more that you do that, the easier it's going to be letting go. And when I say let go, that's when you internally shift to a degree to which you're no longer emotionally dependent upon seeing reality change. When you're good with it and you're good without it. And it's only when you're good with it and you're good without it that it will materialize. And unfortunately, a lot of the time, we're good with things, but we're not good without them. And the only reason you're not good without it is because your subconscious mind hasn't been convinced that you already have it. But when your subconscious mind is convinced that you already have it, then you'll be good with it and you'll be good without it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the step-by-step blueprint to manifesting whatever it is that you desire.